Oh my God, why am I doing that? George has assumed the lookout bark position, so I'm just waiting for him to start barking. There it is. All right, you guys, why do you say that? Why do you say all right? Like, no, we don't need to say all right. I really liked letting you guys, oh my gosh, why am I so frizzy? All right, whatever, I don't even care. Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole, and today I thought we would reel it in and film a full face of nothing new using affordable products since I just filmed my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. So this is the look we're going for. It is so easy. It's a little bit of a step above my like everyday natural tutorial, but it's still super natural and super easy to achieve. So I would love it if you guys would get ready with me in this video. Go in your collection, grab some products you haven't played with for a while, you've forgotten about, get them in front of you, and let's get ready together. So if that sounds like something you're interested in doing, go ahead and keep watching. So I have zoomed you guys in as much as possible. I did this in my faux freckle video. I actually physically moved my desk closer to the camera so you guys could see every imperfection on my skin, and of course I'm in natural light. Said it once, I'll say it again. Love studio lighting and the ability to control the light, whereas when you're using natural light, it's gonna be brighter at some point when the sun is shining bright, and then dimmer when the sun goes behind a cloud. But what you guys see on camera is what you get in real life, and I think that's more important, especially during this time. We live in a very, very weird time of YouTube where everybody tries to like, you know, cover, not everybody, but a lot of the more like popular people try to like cover their imperfections and just look completely flawless. And you know, that's just not realistic. And I want to keep it realistic around here. So again, what you see on camera is what you get in real life. So let's get going here. I have already primed my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer. Really like this stuff. I'm pretty much to the end of it. I have another one ordered from ColourPop. It gives my skin a really nice, pretty glow. Once it dries down, which it has, I put this on about 15 minutes ago, there's no tackiness to it. If you do apply your foundation like 5 minutes after, there is a little bit of a tack to it. So it kind of just depends on what you like. I prefer to let my primers sink in and kind of do their job before I go in with foundation, which today we're using the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. Love this stuff so much. I didn't like it at first when I first tried Believe Beauty because I had the wrong color. So keep that in mind, you guys, when you try foundations, if you have the wrong color, it can completely throw off everything about that foundation, at least for me. So I'm using the shade Buff, and this is really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake it up and we'll go ahead and apply it. I'm gonna take a couple of pumps on the back of my hand. This actually might be a little bit dark, but if I'm ever on the like borderline of a foundation being like too light or too dark, I always go too dark. I think it just looks a little more natural. And since I'm not going in with like a totally full coverage and a ton of product, it kind of just like works itself out. So I still have a decent amount on the back of my hand. I'm just gonna rub whatever left on my sponge here while George looks at the dog outside and starts to bark at it. George, he is a cute little hound dog, don't bark at him. And then I'm just gonna kind of pounce in with my sponge. I feel like a sponge gives a lot more natural look, especially with this foundation. If you do go in with a brush, I feel like you kind of get a little bit more of a heavy application, and I just want things to look real nice and natural. So I'm just gonna lightly blend all of this out with my AOA Studio Paw Paw sponge. This sponge is $1.55 and I love it. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how beautiful this foundation is, you guys. Ugh, I'm so happy they sent over another color. Believe Beauty was one of like the first brands to put me on their PR list. I love their glimmer pots. I love their lipsticks. It's a Dollar General brand, so it's super affordable, but they really do it well. I really like a foundation that looks like skin, and this totally looks like skin. It's not too matte, it's not too dewy. It does kind of dry down. If I was to pick like more of the dewy side or matte side, more on the matte side, which is why I go in with that ColourPop Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer. It really kind of helps amp up the glow, which I prefer in my looks. But obviously, if you're a little more on the oily side, or if you like more of a matte look, you could totally go in with a mattifying or oil controlling primer. Don't forget to blend your foundations right into your hairline. especially if you're using something that's just a little bit darker than your skin tone and then onto those ears, you don't want to have like discoloration here or on the ears or down the neck. Then people, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm going in with a very, very light hand here, so you're not going to see too much of a distinction, but that's a telltale sign that you got foundation on. I still have a ton of product on the back of my hand. I did like 1.5 pumps and I could have just done one. So I'm just gonna wipe the rest off on my paper towel because I don't need it. This is the perfect amount of coverage. Like I said, and I didn't apply anything onto my lids or under my eyes because you guys know I don't like to look cakey. And if I go in with foundation under my eyes and on my eyelids and then concealer, it gets cakey really quick. So if you're running into issues, I have a lot of fine lines under my eyes. If you run into issues like I do with, you know, concealer building up, if I apply my foundation like mistakenly under there, try to not bring your foundation too high up or on the lids. It's just not necessary. And we are going in with an eyelid primer today, so I'm not really gonna take much of anything on there. I always take just a touch of my concealer because as you can see, I have discolored eyelids. I've got some veins on there, you know, it's a lot darker. So I like to go in with a little bit of concealer, then my eyeshadow primer, but you know, everybody is different. If you didn't need to, don't do it. So speaking of concealer, I am grabbing my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Light Beige. Only a tiny, tiny bit of this is needed, you guys. It's so full coverage. So I'm just gonna go where I need a little bit of help. I have allergies, so I always take just a touch in the outer corner and then obviously some discoloration here. And I'll use just that amount to go under my eyes and then also help with that discoloration on the lids. All right, so I'm not gonna set anything. I'm just gonna kind of let the skin sit for a while so everything dries down before I go in with powder products. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on these brows. I have the e.l.f. Wow Brow in Neutral Brown, which you guys know I love, but I wanted to bring out my ColourPop Brow Boss Gel again since I haven't used this for a while, and I really liked this stuff as well. Very, very similar products. You guys know I'm very, very into just brow gels with fibers. I haven't been into like drawing in the brows at all lately. It's just too much work for me and I can't be bothered with that right now. So I'm gonna take the ColourPop and see how we like this. It definitely seems a little more pigmented than the Wow Brow, which is nice. I can definitely use it. I haven't gotten my brows done, obviously, since before quarantine. I did go in and shave my face yesterday, so I kind of cleaned up the brows a little bit, but I don't like trimming my brows myself because I'm way too nervous. I'm going to cut it too far and it's gonna look a hot mess. So this is in the color, I wanna say blonde, oh, light brown actually. Dang, ColourPop, look at that. That looks so good. You guys see, you guys need to get your hands on a brow gel like this with fibers. If you hate your brow routine, I'm telling you, if you have obviously some brow hairs like I do, if you had more sparse brow hairs, it probably wouldn't work so well. You'd have to draw in a little bit, but if you've got some brow hairs to work with, this makes life so much easier. I ended up buying the Patrick Ta Brow Wax as well in my Sephora order because a ton of things sold out before I could get my hands on them, so I had to kind of revise what I was getting, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that. I mean, come on, could it get any easier than that? I am obsessed. I'm not even gonna fill those in a touch with a brow pencil. Looks so good, I'm obsessed. But I am gonna go ahead and set them up with the Milani Clear Brow Gel. This is really good stuff. I do think that the ColourPop holds pretty well, and the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Set does hold a little bit better than this, but this is a really, really nice drugstore product. Definitely one of the nicest for clear brow gel to keep these babies in place. I could honestly just pop on like a bright lip and be done at this point, but since we have let the face hang out a little bit, I am gonna go ahead and go in with the rest of the products on the face. So I'm gonna take my L'Oreal Lumi Bronze It in 01. You guys know I love this stuff so much and I haven't used it for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and bronze up the face a little bit with my Wet n Wild Fire Dragon Ice Dragon. I have been really, really, really loving this brush again. I used to go in with that Japanesque brush a lot, which I still love, but I just think that this gives me a little bit more control being a smaller brush. I really want to try the Flower Beauty Precision Blush Brush. I think that's what it's called. That's like on my wish list if I need to order something from either Walmart, which I never do, or if I want to order from Flower Beauty directly, but yeah. Anyway, that's my spiel on brushes. This guy's really nice. So I'm just gonna really lightly bronze the skin. And then I'm just gonna grab a Milani blush. This is in Romantic Rose. I got this like when I ordered something on Milani. It's very small, but it works, and it's a really pretty nice neutral rosy color. So I'm just gonna grab that on my Japanesque angled brush and apply a little to, you know, the backs of my cheekbones. Just a little bit. I'm not like one of those people who loves to like crazy blush the face. I don't think it suits my bone structure. So again, that's something to just keep in mind as you watch tutorials. You know, someone might apply blush like right here, and when you do that, it might not look the same. Play around with different placement with blush. A really good book for that. Oh my gosh, what is the name of it? I think it's Makeup Secrets by Gemma Kidd. I can't remember. Making Faces by Kevin Aquan is really good too. If you want to learn a little bit more about like bone structure and placement of makeup. But the best thing to do is practice on your own face. All right, and then I'm gonna grab my Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Highlighter. I feel like I have a cat hair on my lip, which I probably do, but this is the color Daybreak Glimmer. And I really liked this when I tried it, and I haven't tried it again since, so I just wanna see. Again, I don't wanna go like too heavy. Yep, that is very intense. I barely even touched my face there, so if you do have this and you like more of a natural look, be careful, but that is a very, very pretty wet looking highlight. And I am touching like all over the places where I could see the sun, since I'm sitting in front of my natural light, naturally hits, but I'm not going overboard. I'm not like, you know, heavily applying it, like holding my brush up here. Again, the closer you hold to the bristles, the heavier the application is, which is why you see I usually hold my brushes at the end. So I am, you know, strategically highlighting where the sun is reflecting on my face, but I'm not going super heavy so it looks unnatural. I'll also do the same thing in the inner corner. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist and just spritz all over my face a little bit. I really meant a little bit, so that was 4 sprays. And I'll just go ahead and fan that off. All right, so see how nice and just natural my skin looks? Super, super easy to achieve. Takes 5 minutes if you're not over explaining it like I am. I love this, and you could see in natural light, it looks very, very pretty. So let's go in and do these eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and start by priming with my Alter Ego eyeshadow base. Alter Ego is an affordable e-commerce brand that I love. They do dupe. I took a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm just taking the tiniest little bit on my finger. You do not need to overdo it with primer. You don't have to go in and coat your entire eye. You just need the tiniest little bit, and that'll cover the eyelid space, especially like those MAC paint pots and like that P. Louise stuff. Like I see people covering their entire eye with that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how does that not crease on you? You know what I mean? So you really just need the tiniest little babiest amount to get, you know, the effect of what an eye primer does, and that's to intensify the eyeshadow and stop creasing. But anyway, I don't know where I'm going with my eye look today. I don't know what I want to do. I haven't been doing too much with my eyes lately because I've had dry lids, but I feel like I'm finally getting out of that slump so I can play a little bit with color. So let me just wipe off what's on the back of my hand before I get it in my hair like I did in my last video with my foundation. And I'm gonna play with the Alter Ego Aurora palette. I was in the middle of explaining this. Alter Ego does dupe high-end brands. So this is a dupe, I'm pretty sure, for, I wanna say, a Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette, or it might be a Natasha Denona. I think this might be Natasha Denona, but it's a lot more affordable. I do have a code with them as well. I believe it's BrittanyNichole. I'll leave it down below if it's not, but these eyeshadow, every single eyeshadow palette they have is so beautiful. They blend beautiful, they perform beautiful, and I just love them. So I wanted to bring this out because I don't think I've actually played with this on camera yet. They also have eyeshadow brushes that I have been talking about over and over again on my channel. all. This is not sponsored, by the way, at all. I just really enjoy the brand. I've been loving the Alter Ego #1 brush to blend into the crease. I've also been loving the #2 brush, and they have a pencil brush as well. Let me find that and grab it to show you. Here we go, the #7. I've been using this a lot, and it comes in a really cute little like container to store them as well. I've got that in my makeup storage because I just store all my brushes in this guy, but really nice to travel with. So I'm gonna use these because again, it's affordable and it's really nice. All right, so I'm gonna start with my Alter Ego #3 brush. These are so pretty. I love the ferrule. It's like matte. It's not super black. It's like a grayish black, and it just feels nice in the hand. So I'm gonna take Star right here from the Aurora palette, and I'm gonna work that right into the crease. I did let the primer set down as well, just like the foundation. If I was to go in right away with that before it set down, I feel like it kind of skips a little bit no matter what primer that is. So I always like to let my primers set down a little bit so they're not so tacky. I know a lot of people love a tacky base, and if I was like not blending the product, if I was like packing the product on, which a lot of people do on YouTube, maybe you'd want it a little stickier so it kind of gripped that product. But I feel like when you let it set down a little bit more, it just, you blend the product on a lot better. But that's personal preference. Everybody likes, you know, the way a product performs in a different way. So if you didn't like that, go ahead and do what works for you. Now I have a much more hooded eye on this side, so I really kind of have to create and mimic what I do on that side. This side, I have a little bit more of definition where my orbital bone is. This side, I just don't. My brow bone is a lot stronger. So makeup always looks a little bit better on this side, which is why I show that on camera. But I did want to mention, you know, do your best to just kind of look in your mirror. I always hold a mirror, a compact or whatever it is down. The Aurora palette comes with a mirror, which is really helpful. And I just try to mimic what I've got going on over there. With my Alter Ego #2 brush, I'm just gonna blend the edges. I think I'm gonna take the Alter Ego #5 brush actually with that same shade Star, and I'm gonna kind of work it on the outer corner as well to bring that in. I think I'm just gonna take a shimmer and apply that on the rest of the eye. I'm just grabbing the #1 brush, same shade. All we've used is Star so far. And I need a smaller blending brush to get into this crease area right here. I just always have an issue for some reason with shadow sticking there. So I'm just gonna do that on both sides. I'm gonna take my #7 pencil brush, and sticking with Star, which is all we've done, I'm gonna work that under the eyes as well. All right, that is so stinking pretty and so easy to do. What I'm gonna do now is take Stellar, this shade right here, and I'm just gonna take that and apply it all over the eyelid where I haven't applied any color yet. So I'm just gonna take that on my finger, and I always like to take it on the finger that's like the same side as the eye. It's just easier for application for me. There's Theo jumping over the gate. And I'm gonna go ahead and just press that, starting like in the center of the lid and then working my way out and then to the outer corner. I don't want to go too much over Star since we, you know, work to blend that, and we'll blend again after this, but I just want like a really nice wash of color. I'm gonna grab my #6 brush where I need to get a little more precise, like right at the ends and up here. I didn't wet this brush at all either. And I'll just kind of tap where needed. And note, there is zero fallout whatsoever, which is amazing. And you always want to blend those edges after you're done, just so everything looks real seamless. No harsh lines, that's our goal. All right, that is so simple and so pretty. Just a really nice everyday kind of look. I am so tempted to grab one of the like yellow or golden shades, but I really kind of want to do this more like monochromatic type look. So I'm gonna hop off here and apply some mascara. I'm gonna use my Maybelline Snapscara. And I might apply some liner. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm gonna decide that when I pop off camera, but I'm sure this video is long enough, so I'm not gonna take up any more of your time doing that on camera. I also have to change my battery, so I'm gonna do all that off camera and I will come right back on here. All right, you guys, so this is the completed look. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I think it's so flattering, it's so pretty, and like I said, it's so easy to achieve. I did wanna point out I'm using an LA Girl Shockwave liner in Screamin' to kind of give me that yellow look I was craving from the Aurora palette, but I didn't want to mess with the integrity of the whole like monochromatic look. I also went in and applied some faux freckles, so check out that video and it will walk you through every single step. I do apply a little more bronzer and blush when I do that, which you'll see in the video if you check it out. So I did grab a different blush. I went in with the Burt's Bees Bare Peach blush to kind of, again, add to that whole monochromatic look, which I think looks so pretty. So yeah, that is it for this one. Thanks for getting ready with me. I think it's so fun to do these, you know, full face of nothing new, just to kind of remember what's in your collection before going out and buying new things, especially if you did like me and bought way too much makeup in the Sephora sale. So thanks again for watching. If you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. Also give me a follow on Instagram where you'll see my makeup looks, you'll see my animals, you'll see some quick little lifestyle videos. We have a lot of fun over there. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.